Hello, everybody. Welcome to the second session of Pájaro de Fuego. This is the place for culture, art, music, and history. Today is a special program. I'm going to show you some of the most representative archaeological sites from ancient Mexico. I found these very interesting photographs, some of them commercial, but I'm guessing the same photographer. I don't know who he is, but want to mention that they are not all the archaeological sites. There's many more. I think in total are 194 archaeological sites in the country of Mexico. But an important thing to mention also is that they were built in different times, most of them, and different cultures also. So, what is important to know is that the structure of or the core of these cultures are the same. It doesn't matter if was built or developed 1,000 years before the other one. So this is the characteristic of the ancient Mexican cultures. They have this core that they have the same way of thinking, the same philosophy, the same calendar, the same appreciation of nature, of the universe, and the way of life. So I'm gonna show you these images and enjoy. And this is one of those moments that you can decide that to put on your bucket list. Maybe one of those places you want to visit, and some of them definitely worth it to go and visit. So thank you for being here. I want to say thank you for all the people who comment last time on the first session, and I really appreciate it. And I hope you enjoy this one. So make sure that relax, grab your snacks, your drinks. This session I have changed to different schedule on the hours. It's gonna start 8 p.m. on the Arizona time, 10 p.m. Mexico, and other parts of the world. You can check it out your time. But that's a change that I'm gonna do. But it's gonna be every 2 weeks, and here we go. Okay. The first archaeological site that I have here is in my state. My state is Jalisco. This is the Huachimontones, is the name of the place. It's a funny name because montones is like a pile of stuff. So it's a pile of dirt, or it's a pile of bricks or something. That's where it comes from, because we don't know that much about the name. But what we know, this is a place that it was built 1,000 years this era. This means before Christ. And the characteristic of this place is that it's round buildings. And this is the place where we found, well, the archaeological rest of sculptures and clay pottery. They have found people doing the stick, like voladores de Papantla, like the flyers of Papantla. So this is a very interesting place to visit in the state of Jalisco. It's been recently open to the public. We didn't know about it, but I think it's been like 10 years now, 15 years that it's open, and it's a very nice place. The next one is in Uxmal. It's called Uxmal. This is from the classic Maya period, 200 years after this era. This is from the Mayan culture, and it's a beautiful story about this the main building in the center. They call it the castle. Everything is like the castle, because the Europeans, always wanted to interpret these buildings as their own culture, but it's not a castle. This is a main building. It's very interesting because it's got round corners, And the story tells that this little man built in one night this beautiful building in Uxmal, in Yucatan. Definitely worth it to visit. This is one of the most beautiful ones. It's called Palenque. This is in the state of Chiapas, also from the classic Maya culture. And this is the place where they have found the tomb of Pakal. Pakal as a important person, somebody who got rich grades of knowledge and got this place to the way we know it right now. And it was built around 200 and 800 after this era, and it was a developer of many hundreds of years to develop this site. This one is called Tajín. This is from the Totonac culture in the state of Veracruz, close to the Gulf of Mexico. This is the Pirámide de los Nichos. Nichos are the little holes that we call it for the birds. So they have these nichos. They're not for the birds, but it's based on the structure, on the mathematical structure for the calendar. And this is the Totonac culture from the classic period. Then we have this one, Xochitecatl. This is in the state of Tlaxcala. I don't know this place, never been there. It's in the center of Mexico. Then we have a classic famous one of the most famous, I will say. It's called Chichen Itza. This is a very representative archaeological site because it is a mix from the Toltec and Mayan culture. This is the true mix of both cultures, especially the Toltec, with the designs, with the math, the myth of the mixing of the math, and in all the buildings, Quetzalcoatl as Kukulkan in this place, and it's very nice, beautiful place. Here's another famous one from Central Mexico, from right before the Toltecs. A lot of experts and historians call it Teotihuacan, the place where the gods are born. That's what I mean. And some of them they'll say that it's from the Toltec culture, but recent discoveries have found that there were many cultures living there. So probably there's some theories about how this place was like a university or a place of study or research of knowledge for many different cultures from the area or different distance area. They have found neighborhoods from the Mayan, from people from the center or Michoacan. This one is another important one. It's called Paquimé in the state of Chihuahua. This is another part of the state. This is a very important place because this is the place where the trades were made with the people here in Arizona and New Mexico. This is the place where the designs of the pottery is very well known in the whole area, and Paquimé is the place. It's very close to Casas Grandes. So this is the place that they were trading feathers, they were trading turkeys, guajolotes, all the way from the south, obsidian, and people from the north, from Pueblo in New Mexico, in Arizona, were trading turquoise all the way to the south, and the south bringing shells and obsidian and all jades and all the different animals and feathers, beautiful feathers, to the northern area. This is Yaxchilan from the classic Maya on the Puc style in Yucatan. Then we have this very interesting one because it's from the Zapotec culture. The Zapotec culture is very, very, very old, before the Mayans. This is place in Oaxaca, and the Zapotecs start building it, and then the Mixtec culture uses place also, like 500 years after the Zapotecs. So the history of this place is very interesting, and actually the Zapotec culture is very interesting. The language, so probably you wanna check it out about them. Coba. This is one of the highest or the tallest pyramids in the whole country. This is in the state of Quintana Roo. Coba is very, very close to the place called Tulum. This is very close to the ocean in the Mexican Caribbean. Worth it the visit. It's very, very big, humid. You can rent a bicycle and go around to this place. We have Comalcalco in the state of Tabasco. Never been in this place, and probably it's a mix of the Zapotec, Mayan, and Olmec culture, because everything started with the Olmec culture, and then the Zapotecs and Maya culture were developed or born. This is Calakmul in Campeche. So as you can see, this is the area where the jungle is all over. This is one of the places that some expert call the Occidental culture, La Quemada, Zacatecas. It's a place worth a visit, and it's one of the places of the trace to go to Chihuahua. This is one of the routes for the trace. This is Tulum, also in the state of Quintana Roo, very famous because it's right at the coast. Ekbalam, the state of Quintana Roo. No, this is in Yucatan, sorry. Chacopen, Quintana Roo. Cantona, Puebla. This is a very big place, probably from the post-classic period, around 900 and 1200 years from this era. Then we have this famous place called Tula in the state of Hidalgo. These are the Atlantes de Tula. It's a recognized sculptures on the pyramids. This is the place where one of the famous personas got this grade of a Quetzalcoatl. There's a lot of stories and books about it. Chalchalcingo in the state of Morelos, Toltec culture. We have Tonina in Chiapas, Mayan culture, big place, beautiful. Chincultic in Chiapas also. Plazuelas in the state of Guanajuato. And then we come back to Huachimontones. So this is just a sample of the places that we have in Mexico, and there's many, many, many more, as I said, and places that are definitely worth it to visit and put it on your bucket list. So, like I said, I want to say thank you, everybody, to keep following me online. Make sure to check it out, my website, oliveriobalcells.com, or the business website, forlizard.org, and my Instagram, Olivalcells, Spotify, Olivalcells. You can check it out, my music, YouTube, Oliverio Balcells, and Facebook, like this one, Oliverio Balcells, or For Lizard Studios. Okay, so, well, thank you for being here. Here we go with the interview with Mitra. I hope you have an interest in this. Check it out of the photographs from the archaeological sites, and here we go. Okay, hello, Mitra.
Hello,
welcome
hi
to
there.
the second session of Pájaro de Fuego. It's an honor to have you here.
and tell us about your story as an artist and a woman here in Arizona. So tell us, where are you from and your first experience with art, doing art.
Okay. First of all, thank you so much. My name is Mitra Kamali. I am very thrilled to be talking about my art this session. To answer your question, as long as I remember, I have painted. So I remember I was the earliest time that I remember it was like around 3.5, 4 year old, and so I have been very interested because art is like my religion. I've done it all my life. So, but I didn't necessarily end up, going to art school because I come from three girl family and my mom, uh, and I was interested in arts in general, in ballet, in dance and music and painting. And she said, three girls, this is should be side job. And she really encouraged me to pursue engineering because I was good in math. I enjoyed math and science too, but she really, really insisted that I should pursue that, and I'm glad I did. So I studied engineering, and then, but because I had my parents, they were, they're from Iran, and we had a revolution, and the revolution almost killed them, and they were in house arrest, and a dictatorship came in, and then so I had to be serious about having a job that makes can afford life. So that's why, to be financially secure, I had to do my engineering, which was an interesting job because I was a petroleum engineer. But once I did that, as soon as I could have them here, which took like 8 years, with the help of my sister, and that we had come here earlier. I was brought up to want freedom and democracy. Of course, democracy is such a relative thing, and anyway, so here was a lot better than over there. So um, that's when I started to do my art all my life. But then seriously was after I had my parents here. I we made sure, me and my sister, we made sure that they have a good roof on their head, and because they lost their everything back home in Iran. And then so that's what happened. As soon as I could get off, I took very early retirement and started traveling and learning about other cultures. And the more I traveled, the more I realized that how similar we are, and I loved it because I was born in Iran, but I am very global resident of the world, and I had to prove that to myself. And I really think working like this, to work with people like yourself and many other people who are thinking alike, we can bring peace and democracy throughout the world.
Very well. Well, I've seen your art a couple of years now, and I noticed different styles and different techniques. Can you tell us about it?
Sure, yes. Um, what I like the novelty about techniques of things because that gets me going. I get excited. I am not really, I don't like to be branded into certain ways of doing something. But I guess if you were going to put a name over the styles that I have painted, there was a time that I keep doing like, again, I was very interested in human emotion, and I like to show that. And then so I did a series of, and they were life size. They're kind of like um, realistic impressionism, and variety of styles of techniques using acrylic, inks, pencil, a mixture of all of them, and then oil paint. And then thanks for my job, because I used to work in Gulf of Mexico as a drilling engineer, and we used to drill down like almost a mile and a half in the earth in the Gulf, and then they bring the cuttings out, and And I thought how interesting these things that they were coming fresh out of these very hot, heated areas of the earth coming out, and they change colors, and we had to identify what was hydrocarbon, what wasn't. And then, so I thought maybe I love the idea of burning things, like making like a fusion. So I started doing a technique that I think I came up with, and I just melt polyester over different surfaces, and I get very interesting effect that looks like laminated. It's like really interesting, which I will show you later. So and then right now, I, I am kind of happy about what is happening with COVID, although I'm extremely upset for my loved ones and all the people that they have either gotten ill or lost somebody, but that's a bad part. But the good part of the COVID to me is that it has unified the whole world, because no matter who you are and how rich you are and how important you are exposed to this illness, to this virus. And so I think that it will bring people closer. It's time for us to rethink our values about our planet Earth. So so after what I've gone through, I'm doing a lot of sketches, like black and white only, which I think is very powerful, because you only have one color and shades of gray. So I really do a number of different things.
Okay, yeah. Can you tell us what is your view of being an artist woman here in Arizona? Tell us.
I thank God I grew up in a culture, Persian culture is a very rich culture. First of all, our language, it's a unisex language. We don't have gender. So I grew up with the idea of when I paint a human being. I I like, um, you know, I think it is extremely important. Human rights are extremely important. And but I grew up with the idea of human being is the same, and you need a man and a woman in order to have production. Now, you know, other people who are like, gender differences or gays or lesbians, they're all okay too. That's their preference. But for me, it doesn't matter whether I'm a male or a female. But as a woman, it is harder in the art world to get into places, because I really think it was easier for me as a female engineer to operate a lot of times than a female sometimes. I couldn't even believe that. But altogether, art is like everything else in life. You just have to keep at it.
Hmm.
I I don't get offended if somebody doesn't accept me or because my art is very um, very spiritual to me. If I don't, it doesn't matter whether somebody likes it or if they don't like it. So
Yeah,
it
yeah.
is beyond, above and beyond. If somebody likes it, that's wonderful. That means we connected. So it hasn't, and because, of course, I love to sell my work, but because early on, I had to be very serious about bringing my parents, because we lost our everything in Iran. I had, so I made most of my money as an engineer. So I made my art like my temple.
Hmm.
It's like buying God or something. You know what I'm saying? It's like, um, I don't get offended as a woman because
Hmm.
I operate as a human being. To
Hmm.
me, man and woman, they was part of a human.
Yeah.
So I don't operate from the only woman, but because of the culture of certain areas, yes, there is problems being a woman, because women have to work more and stuff like that. But I have always, because I go and ask for things, and I, try to reason why certain things, and then, so personally, I haven't had that much problem. Maybe sometimes, but not that much. But so I don't. I didn't really have any problem about that.
That's good. No, it's good.
Yeah,
And how
it's
do you
a state
see?
of mind. It's like I don't get it. What I try, and even like in any situation, if you know your material well,
Mhm.
and then if you can speak about it and prove your point, usually if they give you a chance, sometimes they don't give you a chance, but then if usually you go after something and you get it.
Yeah, yeah. So how would you like to see yourself in the future, Mitra?
I normally just live in the present
Mhm.
because future, like we saw in case of COVID, I don't do too many plannings, but because a lot of my plan and the plan doesn't go through. But I would like to try some things there are certain things it's in my bucket list I want to do. I definitely want to create the sculptures or make like, you know, do some things that I haven't done before, like maybe use a video or, you know, just installation. I, I have some ideas about installation and some ideas about making sculptures that represent um, human rights. I'm very adamant about human rights because I really believe that's the only thing we have. If we don't have our rights, we are nothing. So I would like to do some sculpture
Okay,
and continue with my art and hopefully come up with more things to do.
very
There's
nice.
many
Well,
subjects. Yes.
thank you for being with us on this second
Thank
session
you.
of Pájaro de Fuego, and it's an honor to have you. And thank you for
Yes.
your time. I appreciate
Correct.
it.
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for being here on this second session of Pájaro de Fuego. Next time will be September 5th, 8 p.m. Arizona time. And next session, I will present all the artwork that I have made during this quarantine. And everything's going to be for sale. So get ready. 2 more weeks where I will present these pieces that I have made during this quarantine here in my studio. And thank you very much for being with us. I hope you have a great weekend. Enjoy your Saturday, Sunday, relax. Remember, take care, and see you next time. Thank you very much.